Hello, everybody. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. All right, so is this installment 3 or installment 4? Escape from Australia? What have I done? So I'm in my new place. I'm going to be here for a couple of months. Although I have thought numerous times of just packing up and, I don't know, going somewhere. But I'm here. This has been a really tough move. As you know, I had to drive down and spend the night, stay in a hotel, get on a plane, go to Sydney, stay in a hotel overnight, get on a plane, 14 hours to Los Angeles, a few hours layover, get on another plane, 4 hours. And then I was so wiped out, as you know, I went and just stayed at the Orlando Airport Hotel, which was great. Um, that really served the purpose there. And I've been having horrible jet lag. And then I went and stayed last night at a hotel closer to here. I drove down, um, I got my rental car and then drove down. And was that today? That was today. It's been so long. Was that today or yesterday? It was today. I mean, everything is just blending together. And I'm not having things are not going smoothly for me so far. I tried to, after the taxi dropped me off. This was yesterday, actually. Taxi cab dropped me off, and I got my rental. I plugged in my phone because I still was on roaming from Australia, and supposedly it was supposed to work. And I plugged my phone into the car to look at the maps, and the Maps app wouldn't come up. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get a new chip for my phone. So I say, hey, where can I go? She says, hey, there's a Walmart right down the street. Florida, Walmart, what a surprise. So I drive down to the Walmart, and they try to put the chip in. They say, your phone is too old, your iPhone is too old. So we can give you a new phone, brand new, blah, 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 and you'll sign up. And I said, great, because I was thinking I'll go ahead and get a permanent Florida phone, because who knows how long I'm going to be here. And they couldn't get it to work because I didn't have an address. Walmart would not give me the phone. The company that works there is not Walmart. They're another telecommunications company, and they approved me, but then Walmart wouldn't. So I said, get the guy out here. So they brought some guy and some girl out from some office, and he basically said, there's nothing I can do. The computer is telling me, what to do, and so I just do whatever it tells me. And they're trying to make me feel better somehow. Like, well, you're going to get a letter. I said, where? I don't have an address yet. That's the problem. Oh, well, you're going to get a letter saying why you didn't get approved. And I said, you realize that doesn't solve my problem. I'm sharing this with you because this has everything to do with this, living in this biomatrix. I'm going to sound like an old man, but back in my day, there was somebody you could talk to, and I used to be able to say things like, when people on the phone would say, well, there's nothing I can do about it, or we can't do that. And I said, well, you can't, but somebody can. And you're going to put that person on the phone, and we're going to solve this. Or I'd say things like, well, I guess you don't have the authority to make the decision. And then they would, they'd find somebody that I could talk to. But this person literally couldn't. I mean, he was the whatever manager of the something of the Walmart, and he literally could do nothing. He had to take his orders from the AI, the artificial intelligence bot is telling him on his computer what he can and cannot do. And so I said, listen, I'm just simply trying to get my map apps to work so I can get to where I'm supposed to go. And so anyway, they ended up giving me this crappy Android knockoff phone just so that I have apps on it. And I hate the damn thing. I hate it. It's like it doesn't do what I want. Anyway, so I'm using it right now to just so that I have a map program that works. And I'll figure something out. And then today I woke up from the hotel I was in and drove here to where I was. And I stopped by the beach, of course, and I was not enthused. I mean, I don't know what I expected. I knew that it was going to be Florida, which is not known for its amazing, huge surf. And I got to the beach and it was really, I was extremely disappointed. Drove down a little bit and tried to stop at a couple other places and was not happy. Now, having said that, there's some good things here. There's forest everywhere, and it's confusing to me. Number one, the other thing I'm finding is that Florida is just flat. I knew that coming here, but it's flat. I'm not used to that. It feels wrong. It feels boring. It does feel like this is where old people go because the land is just so. There's just nothing going on. There's all this forest, but it's confusing because it's a tropical area, and you've got very beautiful pine tree forests with palm trees growing up amongst the pine trees, and it's where I'm from. If you want to get a pine tree, you got to drive up 6,000 feet up a mountainside. You certainly wouldn't have a palm tree next to a pine tree. So it doesn't feel like I'm near the ocean, and that makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, what I had was so amazing, and this is pretty amazing in its own way. But anyway, I drove up because I have to, if for my own sanity, I have to surf, even if I paddle out into nothing. I've got to do it for my own sanity. So I drove up the coast there's a big surf shop about a half hour from here. And I bought a nice surfboard because I have to, because I guess there's going to be some surfable waves coming up soon. And talked to the guy and said, is it really possible to surf here, please? I've just come from Australia. It was the most amazing thing. And what I just saw has been really depressing. He did confirm that the waves are quite small here, but that you can surf regularly if got to make the best of it. So I'm trying to do that, but it's really sad. I mean, what I had was phenomenal, and I'm on the verge of tears all day, and jet lagging. So I feel like I'm jet lag PMSing. But I have a nice little place here, but it's Florida. And I guess what I mean by that is that there's, when I drove here and pulled into this lot, the first big chunk of it, it's like 3/4 of an acre or something, this hallway through the trees is filled with, like, there's vehicles and trailers and, well, what the hell's going on here? And then somebody's Winnebago, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I saw somebody walking around. I said, hey, and so I guess the owners have some other company, and then that's all their stuff. And he promises he won't make noise before 8 a.m., which is, oh my God, really? So I got to listen to some guy clunking around in the morning. Right now, that's not an issue because what's happening is I'm falling asleep, like right now. Right at sundown, I fall asleep for 4 hours, and then I'm up for a few hours, and then I fall asleep again until about 8. Um, but I'm really sad, and it's just a maybe it's just this part of Florida. It's a bunch of old people, and it's making me feel old. I mean, my body's got to recover from being on a plane for 24 hours. It's really hard on my back and my knees, and so I'm limping around as it is, and I'm just seeing all these old people, old retired people. The good news is everybody's very nice, but it makes me feel old. And I look at they look like me but worse. They look like me if I hadn't, if I had like smoked and drank and anyway, it's so depressing. But if I can have a couple of days a week surfing, if I can have that, even if the waves are small, if I can have a couple of days of decent surfing, I'll be okay. The weather's warm, and I haven't gone hiking. There's tons of hiking and all kinds of other stuff, but it's hitting me, that I've been away. I've been in Australia for 2.5 years, and it was just unbelievable. It was beyond my wildest fantasies. And so this is definitely a downgrade. The other thing too is that you wouldn't think this, but the United States compared to Australia, Australia is much more. What's the right word? I mean, they're more advanced. They're everything. Their houses. I mean, just to give you an example, like U.S. toilets suck, and their toilets are amazing. Everything is upgraded. Here, everything is kind of crappy. You know, I miss all the great food at the grocery stores. The grocery stores had the greatest food. I mean, you saw I was drinking those kombucha, like those naturally sugar-free kombucha sodas. They were just phenomenal, and the juices that they had, and all this fresh. And to go back and you know, United States grocery stores. It's just everything is low budge here. Everything feels mass produced, and of course, this is now, as you know, I'm no fan of Biden. I think Biden is the worst president, and the Democratic Party is worse than communism. It's the most horrific. I mean, now that my eyes have been opened to the unbelievable. That does not mean that I'm a Republican by any stretch of the imagination. It does, it bothers me that I want people to talk about the horrific crimes that are happening in our government. But it really bothers me that everything is boiled down to the Democrats. And it's just like, that's not what this is about. It's not about Democrats versus Republicans, and Fox News is just as bought off as MSNBC. I mean, if Trump were in office, it would be Fox News telling people they had to get the jab all the time because of Operation Warp Speed. So let's not kid ourselves. They're both corrupt. They're both Republicans and Democrats. They don't. There is no democracy left. But so I'm surrounded by that. So it's which is worse. I mean, you got Los Angeles, the woke crowd of Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York, and then you have the born again. I mean, I got here and there's Christian stuff. There's Christian books laid out. Like, here, read something about Jesus when you get here. And yeah, a bunch of old people with MAGA hats but everybody is very nice, extremely polite, a lot like Australia. It's not like that in LA. Everybody's very helpful and neighborly, and that's nice. My biggest thing is we'll find out. If I get here, if I'm able to surf a couple times a week, I'll be okay. I I definitely, I was really I was really fantasizing about having some control over where I lived and getting leasing a car of my own instead of renting a car, and renting a house like with a lease and then putting in my own furniture and setting things up, um, and I just don't know that I can stay here. I I don't know. It's not, I mean, I haven't been away from Australia long enough to miss it, but I am so devastated by not being there. And again, I'm not a victim. This was my choice. This was my conscious choice. I chose to leave. I would have had to leave anyway, but even before I knew that, it was my choice to leave because of what I think is coming. I found out the last day before I left that Queensland, where I was living, which was a paradise compared to New South Wales and Victoria, which were the most locked down places on the planet, and very mandates all over the place, and people that aren't jabbed can't go to the park, and they can't leave their house, things like that. But Queensland was a paradise. I mean, it was walled off from the rest of the world and the rest of Australia. There was no COVID, there was no lockdowns, there was no masks really, and I mean, for a little while you had to wear it when you went into the store, but um, it was it was wonderful. But on the way out, I was watching some stuff and I found out that Queensland, unlike New South Wales and Victoria, has constructed two COVID concentration camps, two of them. And again, if I were to stay there, I would have had to leave the country, and if I wanted to come back, I would have had to stay in a concentration camp for 2 weeks, and I would have had to pay for it. And there's just no way I'm going to do that. I mean, for so many reasons. It's so wrong for so many reasons. Anyway, I made this decision. I chose to come here. I chose to come to Florida. I could have gone anywhere. I knew that I was coming to a place that was not known for big waves, even though there is surfing here. And there are dedicated surfers. But I mean, it's just anyway. I mean, anyway. But this was my choice. I chose to do this, and I can leave. I can still go to Costa Rica if I want. I'm just not prepared to, go and be a foreigner somewhere in some country that I don't understand what's going on, and kind of a third world-ish scenario. And I'm not prepared to do that. I was really hoping to just hunker down for a while and have some roots, um, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I would even consider going back to California if it wasn't so. Anyway, if it wasn't the way it is. Anyway, but here I am. I'm here at least for 2 months. I paid up rent on this place for 2 months. And I haven't shown it, but behind me um, there's the Matanzas River, which has dolphins and manatees, and there's kayaks here. So if I want, I can kayak every day. And there is a beach I can go to just down the road here. And there is a lot of forest and a lot of hiking trails and a lot of mountain biking trails, and no shortage of outdoor adventures and water sports for me. Um, so I am going to make the best of it, and I'm not just going to make the best of it. I'm going to enjoy it. There's a lot to enjoy, and I. It's true that this isn't my ideal, and it's true that the world is a different place right now. and it's not really viable. It's not really possible for me to go and do what I want to do the way that I want to do it. And so I think things are going to change over the next few months, and hopefully the world will wake up to what has been happening, and we'll get rid of this nonsense. So this has been a tough day for me. Really seeing the beach for the first time and being as disappointed as I am. But my feeling is I think it'll get better, and I think I will be okay. I don't plan on staying here. Who knows how long I'll be here? I might be here for who knows a while, but this is definitely not going to be my permanent home. And I'm going to go back to Australia as soon as I can. But in the meantime, I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to get some work done. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. So that's this is the final Escape from Australia video. I don't think I'll need to make any more. Anyway, jet lag is setting in, and I haven't eaten for a while, so I'm going to eat. Anyway, guys, that's it. Couple more days of resting up, and then I'll get back to my normal schedule of doing what I do. All right. I will see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves.